our electricity went off, and we're like, man, this thing's been off for hours. The inverter went out, and we still sitting there, we calling, can't figure out what's going on. Day 2 comes, still no electricity. Day 3, we better go get a room or something, because this is just crazy. What up? What's happening? KLOK, me and Tay. Welcome to Love, Purpose, and Passports. Hope all is well and all are passport ready, a passport getting ready. For those of you that don't know, I am Mr. Pro for you, living in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, with this beautiful wife of mine.
Hi, thank you.
Miss Pro for you.
Hola, hello, and amigos.
So how you doing today, Miss Pro?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking me, Amol. How are you?
I'm doing better. Every time I look over here, there's just something better going on every time.
Thank you. He's so cute. He's so cute.
Yes, indeedy. So we have a great video for you today. Ms. Pro, what do we have for them today?
Well, you know that we've been showing a lot of affordable apartments here in RD, in the DR. And you guys are really, really enjoying those videos because there's like this push out there to make people believe that there is nothing affordable here anymore.
Nothing. You guys are, there's no hope. But the truth is, for whatever reason, people are gatekeeping and hope that we stop showing you these apartments. I mean, we're getting comments in all caps like, this is how you make prices go up. All kinds of stuff, and they end up getting sent to the YouTube block party in the sky. But guess what? We're not going to stop showing you.
No, and in today's video, what we are going to do is that we are going to show you what to look for, what to look out for, and what to ask for in your apartment search. So, topic number 1 is flooding.
Flooding is a major issue here that you have to be concerned about. Depending on where you live, it can affect your quality of life tremendously. So, yes. How do you know if an apartment you're interested in has flooding issues?
Well, a couple things that you could look out for. First of all, what I'd recommend is go around the apartment after it rains. Even if it just rains a little bit. Drive around a little bit, the location, just to kind of see what you're getting yourself into. Because if it just rains a little bit and it's already like the roads are flooded and uncomfortable. Well, you know what's going to happen when it gets crazy.
Exactly. And for most of you, we know you coming from other places. So, I mean, trying to show up when it rains, you may get lucky. You may not be able to get lucky. But one of the best things you can do is ask. Ask about, maybe go to the local Comado, ask them if it floods. If you see any people that already live in the apartment building, in the apartment complex, ask them. Because everybody knows and everybody will be glad to share with you the flood stories if it floods.
Oh yeah, when it floods, everybody wants to talk about it. Like this one time that we got stuck in a flood and we were coming home from work and we got stuck in a flood, and I have to say we were there for like 2 hours. Literally 2 hours, and nothing was moving, nothing was happening. It was dark outside. It was just the craziest, strangest flood that came out of nowhere.
It was. They always come out of nowhere. When they come out of nowhere, you're just stuck.
Yeah.
And thank God where we don't have problems with flooding, like blocking us from getting in our complex or flooding within the complex. Because that can happen. You just got to check it out. You got to find, and this is important because, it's a tropical island. Storms come out of nowhere all the time. And we actually did a video about how to survive a flood in DR. So you may want to check that one out. But when you're looking for apartments, some apartment complexes have one road to get to the entrance. you got to make sure that road doesn't flood because it can just change. Like, you don't know, you move into your happy apartment, then you find out that every time it rains for more than 20 minutes, you already know you stuck. You stuck in or you stuck out. And that can happen.
And what's even worse than that is that sometimes these places get flooded really bad in the parking area.
Yes.
So it's like you can't even park your car ends up underwater. It's bad. If you live on the first floor, it floods into the apartment.
Bad.
So yeah, it could be bad in a lot of places. Not every place, but we don't want you to end up in those
we
places.
want you to ask about it.
Yeah.
Just ask about it. It's worth it. Go to the, like I said, if it's one road out there, ask the local businesses if it floods. They'll
tell you.
They will tell you. Ask around, and like you said, if the ground looks like it goes up and down or something inside the apartment complex, if there's hills or something, just ask because you need to. Because just as easy as it can be okay, it could not be okay. And now you live in there and you like, this is crazy every time it rains.
Exactly.
Yep. I lived in New York for 10 years before I got out here, and so I remember. We were getting ready to move to Flatbush. And in Flatbush, there's like one train that gets there and then it just stops. And me and my sister were looking for an apartment and we're like, okay, we think we like this. We may move over there. And then when we were getting ready to leave, when we got to the train station, they were like, this train station floods and then you just stuck and all this stuff. We're like, we didn't move over there. But we were thankful that everyone at the train station was glad to share with us that one train that gets there floods. But here, look, you could be flooded out and the rest of the island's not flooded out. If you live in a bad place, because just like we know, there's certain streets. Look at Luperon. Yeah. Lake Luperon. That was one of the streets when we're coming from a job or going to a job. We know when it's rained for 20 minutes or longer, Luperon is like a lake. And
I was gonna say one thing too. It's not just in bad neighborhoods, right? These streets get flooded because the drainage system is over flooded. It might be garbage. There's a lot of hills, a lot of cracks in the roads. Something happened. It's a hilly area. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad neighborhood. But we don't want you to find yourself in a situation.
No, we don't want you to find it hard. You have to ask.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence. Don't just ask inside the apartment. Ask outside the complex that leads up to it, because sometimes, like I said, there's only one road that leads to your apartment entrance, or the main street out in front of your apartment entrance. You find out, it floods crazy right there. You gotta ask. And it doesn't mean that, like she said, it's not just like, you're in a hood, area or something. We saw this in Punta Cana. Remember we were talking about the scandal in Punta Cana? We did. Yep. You guys had a place that they bought and moved in, and when it would rain, it would just flood out the whole area. And how do you know? That's happening more and more in Punta Cana as they build it up. And what we have been told, or what everyone knows, is that they build it up faster than they build up the infrastructure. They build up like these new residenciales, new houses, new resorts. There's just so many people moving in there so quickly that they haven't really built up the infrastructure for it. So when it does rain, a lot of places do get flooded. They do. And so then you have to be concerned, like the engineering for the road, if they built it fast and they weren't, you just don't know. And like I said, flooding is normal here. You don't want it to be normal right outside your door. Be normal allá. Yes. So topic number 2 that you have to check out when you're going to rent an apartment is talk about electricity. Electricity is another important thing you have to ask for. All areas were not created equally. No. So, outages out here are normal. Don't think that, it's normal. But the thing is, you kind of want to know what happens in that area compared to other areas if there are a lot of outages. Yeah, like how normal is it? Exactly. How long are the outages? Right. Yep. Some places you find that the people get upset. Wasn't that Estee where they were trying to set up the tires and burning tires because electricity was off for like days? Yeah. There are some locations. At a time? There are some locations where something will happen and they won't fix it right away, and they won't have electricity for days on end. And that's not the norm, but it happens. No, it happens. It happens. So you just kind of, these are things you want to ask about. Not just how's the electricity in your building, how's the electricity in your area?
Right.
You know, because we're going to talk about inverters next. Inverter is going to be your best friend, but it can only go for so many hours, you know, and if you're in a place that is having some serious electrical problems and stuff, then, you know, you're going to be in the dark, you know, without electricity at times, and it'll really make, you know, it'll affect the quality of life.
There are some locations though that when you rent in that area, they say that they have electricity 24 hours a day. So those are good sectors for you to kind of think about and look into. And when they say electricity 24 hours a day, that doesn't mean that one off day out of the blue for maintenance, they might, you know, take the electricity away for 3 hours or 2 hours or something if they're doing maintenance. And then there's a lot of places too that they do scheduled maintenance where like they'll publicize it, they'll say it, next Wednesday from this time to this time is going to be scheduled maintenance. There's not going to be any electricity. So, you know, there's hope. Not all places are like crazy, and they have a lot of organized power outages. So so sometimes the electricity may go off 2 or 3 times a day
for a week, but each time it goes out, it's only out for 5 minutes.
You
know, that's okay, because they're working on something or they're testing something or whatever, you know, it goes out. But you know, when you start talking about, you know, 9-10 hours of the electricity being out, you know, we don't have that problem. We thought we had that problem one time. Our electricity went off and we're like, man, this thing's been off for hours. The inverter went out and we still sitting there, we calling, can't figure out what's going on. Day 2 comes, still no electricity. Day 3, we better go get a room or something, because this is just crazy.
We couldn't take it anymore.
Come to find out, everybody had electricity and we didn't know it.
But us.
The people across from us moved. They went to turn off their electricity. Instead of turning theirs off, they turned ours off.
Yeah. We suffered. And we kept calling. And when we would call and we would say that there was an outage, they say, well, someone went and it shows that your electricity is perfectly fine. I'm like, what you mean perfectly fine?
We in here swelter and half dead. You ever seen those movies where a person goes down in a bunker and they stay in the bunker because they think the world ended, but everybody else is up there, nothing happened, and everybody else is walking. That was us. We in here. We think nobody has what the heck is going on? It's out. The 3 days. Everybody had electricity except us. We didn't know, but that happens sometimes. This is DR. They make mistakes, but you don't make a mistake. Ask about it. Doesn't matter, just make sure you ask. You have to ask because you want to know what you're moving into and you know what to expect. Outages are normal, but different places have more outages than others.
Sure.
So, you know, there's that.
Another thing you might want to ask about is an inverter.
Now, what's an inverter? Some of you OGs know what an inverter is. So for those of you that don't know, because some of you guys ask about generators, an inverter is like a generator, except it runs on batteries. Tell them about what that does.
Well, an inverter, like he said, it's like a backup power source, but most inverters only will power like light things. Like they won't power the air conditioners, they won't power like the refrigerator or anything like that. It'll basically just power like the lights, the fans, the TV, the internet, light stuff. And like let's say that we have, just so you can kind of have an idea, let's say that we'll have a power outage go out. And we'll have our internet and our TV will be on, and like, you know, the fan will be on, and then we'll have like another little portable fan because somebody gets hot. And then
I'm somebody.
And then we might have like all of our equipment plugged up because, you know, you never know.
Yep.
And then I have pet parakeets, so their fans are going to be on. Thank you. And then so we can go maybe 8 hours. 9 hours. 8
hours or longer. Like we really don't run into problems with because
with the inverter.
It's rare that it stays off for 10 hours straight. Now it can go out for 3 hours and then come back on for 2 hours. Then if it's crazy, maybe it goes out for 3 or 4 more hours again. But that 3 hours that your electricity was on, the inverter was charging.
That doesn't happen a lot, but if it happens, we're fine. It's not.
You want to be ready.
A big deal, yeah. But so the inverter is a really good option to have, but it doesn't power like the air conditioners. Like that.
No, it doesn't. Long as as long as you still connected, as long as you still have lights and fan, you'll be okay. And then here's another thing. Once the rain starts, it starts storming, you can almost guarantee the electricity is going to go out. You're like, no, it's been raining for a while. Just get ready for it.
Yep. We start charging all of our phones. We start charging everything just to make sure.
Just in case.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah, because we've had some inverter issues. So we're a bit traumatized. So we try to charge up stuff anyway. But most of the time, no problem. It's smooth. But you want to check to see if your apartment already has an inverter. And if it doesn't, you got to get one. So inverters cost like maybe just for the inverter itself, I don't know, it might be about $150 or something. And they always have 2 batteries. I mean, you got to get 2 batteries to go with it. So each battery might be about $150, each. So $300, $450, $450. That may sound like a lot, but think some of these apartments we showing you are only $500 a month, $600 a month. But here's the thing, that's an investment you need to make and not complain about it, because it's going to keep your life going during these outages, during these storms and everything. You get to keep on living, because once that inverter goes out, you ain't living no more. You're not among the living. You're not connected. You're not nothing. You're going to be miserable and talking about going back to the United States.
Now, there are some apartments that if they're furnished, they'll include the inverter with like the batteries and everything already. So you can kind of ask about that. Some places, even though it's not completely furnished, will have their inverter also. So you ask about that when you're trying to rent an apartment.
Exactly. But we want you to know about an inverter so you can ask about it. And then here's another thing. If you look at an apartment, they tell you it has a generator, that's not your apartment generator. That's a generator for everything outside. So don't think like, oh, this is good, it has a generator. No. There are no generators inside your apartment, just inverters. So when it says generator, it's outside. So your street lights, inside the complex of work and the hallways and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and the generator also works for the water pump. Right? So if the electricity goes out, the generator will kick in, and then the water pump will still be working, and everyone will still have water, whatever. And it keeps all the areas outside lit, the security cameras, the gates, everything. So that's what that's for. That's what
the generator's for. You got an inverter is your best friend. Don't forget to ask about that. Do some research on them. Maybe look up the pricing of some inverters here. On the island, because you need to know. You need an inverter. One quick thing: air conditioning. Air conditioning is your best friend as well. So, yes, all these apartments don't come with AC. Some of them do, some of them don't. Usually it'll tell you, or you can see it in the picture. If you don't, look, it doesn't have AC. It may have fans. If you don't see fans, then there are no fans. But look, these rents are cheap. You got to get it put in yourself. Ceiling fans. What stores do they sell the ceiling fans at?
You can get it
like
in expensive
Jumbo or something, or
La Sirena. Yeah. You can even go to IKEA.
Yeah. So you can get ceiling fans for relatively cheap. Get somebody to install the ceiling fans.
Right.
And then when you move, take them with you. Yeah. Same thing with ACs. You got to get the AC installed yourself. Now you may want to check with management before you move in, and check with them to see if it's okay. But you think that it's okay for most apartments to get put in?
Normally they'll have it'll have like a pre-installation.
That's
ready.
what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, you just hook it up. It's already ready for that.
Sometimes when you look at the pictures, you'll see like a hole in the wall up toward the top or something like that. Then that's for you to be able to put an AC in there. Yeah. So if you don't see it, ask about it, because you need to have one in your room. Number one, outside the room, you may want one in the living room or something. That's extra, but you want that. But we just telling you that sometimes, because these apartments are inexpensive, they may not have ACs and fans in there, but don't think that you can't get in there and get them put in yourself most of the time. You know, you definitely can get the fans put in. You got to make sure that these are the things we're telling you to ask, just to make sure. They'll be like, yeah, you get it put in yourself. Get it put in yourself. When you get ready to move, take it with you.
So another thing for you to ask about, which is very important, is parking spaces.
Parking is another thing that you need to ask for. Don't take it for granted. And when they tell you about parking, take a look at it, make sure it's secure, and where it is in relation to your apartment, you know, because you don't want to find out, you know, your parking spot is somewhere else, you know, not near your apartment. You can't look out and see your car. Or if you can't look out and see your car, you at least want to go see it and make sure that it doesn't look shady. Because you would hate to have some shady looking a parking spot that's yours, but then, you know, you move over there and now you're worried about your car or whatever, or that there's no parking.
Something else to look out for. Sometimes the parking spaces, like sometimes they'll say this apartment will offer 2 parking spaces. And you would think that the parking spaces are, you know, next to each other. Sometimes the parking spaces will be very long, where you park one car and then the other car you park behind it. And they sell it as a double parking space. But what ends up happening is that it'll only fit one large car and one teeny tiny cars. So check that out and see the size of that. Because even though you might not only need one parking space, we only have one vehicle, but we have 2 parking spaces, and we use it whenever we have visitors. So a lot of these residenciales will clearly say no parking for visitors. So then if you have visitors, where are they going to park? I mean, I'm not saying they can't park outside, but it's always comfortable to have
they park outside where they go walk like 2 or 3 blocks to get to your apartment. You don't know. So again, it's just something to ask about, because parking is important when you need to park. Just think sometimes when people may come to service something in your house or anything, where are they going to park?
Exactly.
You know, it becomes a problem sometimes.
It's important. Oh, I wanted to say, what's the policy on if somebody parks their car in your parking space too? That's a question. we have had to ask that once or twice. Okay.
Yep, we've had to call some enforcement a few times too. You know,
and they like it too. I think the security guards are like, "Oh, you need our help." You
know, you gotta hit them with some super security funds. You know, I keep that super security fund, you know, a little thick, so when I call them, they come running. You know, get ready to put that. Cause see, we have boot. They put a boot in your on your wheel in here. You know, sometimes you tell people like, "I thought I told you don't park in our parking spot anymore." Okay. Call the homies.
Super security. They come flying with the boot.
Yep. So parking, you want to ask about parking because it's important. Even if you don't have a car, it's important because, you know, you may, what if you rent a car? What if people come to see you rented a car? You know, your family or something comes through. Then you're like, you know, it gets uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you never have anywhere for anybody to park, it's like, you know, come on. So find out. Again, you know, these apartments that don't cost as much, sometimes they don't have, you know, they don't have as many things sometimes, but parking is pretty normal. You know, when you get to the $250 apartments, you know what I'm saying? Parking is like extra, you know? When you get parking, you know, that's a blessing. If you don't, look, $250 apartment, you ain't got to worry about no parking.
No.
You know, you got money for Ubers. You get dropped off.
So another thing to ask about is the water situation.
Yes. Every apartment, every place has a water situation, and you just want to be familiar with what the water situation is. Beautiful lady mine, tell them how the water works around here.
Well, underneath every apartment in residencial will have like a cisterna, like the water from the ayuntamiento. I don't know where the water lives. The
cistern that comes, the water comes from the water company and comes into the cistern under the complex.
And it's like stored there, and then a pump will pull it to your apartment to where you're at, and it will also send it to something called a tinaco. Right? A tinaco is like, if you go to the roof of your house or your apartment or wherever you're at, they have like these big glow bubble structure things. Yeah,
they're black containers.
They're full of water, and that's like a backup water thing. And the reason that we have those is for a couple of things. Let's say that, you know, you may be low on water. You have like the backup tinaco. Or like sometimes, for example, in where we're at, they have the water pump that's turned on at certain hours during the day. So like they'll turn the water pump on really early in the morning where people are like getting ready to go to work. So the water flow is really hard and strong, and they'll kind of keep it on during the day. And then like maybe towards the nighttime, they'll turn off the pump, and then we'll just get water directly from the tinaco. So like the water from the tinaco, it's perfectly fine. It just doesn't come out as strong because it's kind of flowing down from the roof.
Yeah.
And something you might want to ask is, what's the tinaco situation? Are you sharing tinacos with another apartment?
Yeah.
Because that's pretty normal, actually. That happens a lot. Tinacos are so heavy that buildings have a weight limit of the amount of, I guess, tinacos or the weight of tinacos that you can have. So what they'll have is they'll have like one tinaco for 2 apartments. So the third floor will, you know, there'll be 2 apartments on the third floor. I'm just saying they'll both share the same tinaco. So that's something to take into consideration.
Yeah. And you can just ask, you know, how's the water situation here? Maybe ask them, you know, do they turn on the pump every day? Or, you know, just to familiarize yourself and be aware, you know, that they tell you the right thing.
And what happens if like there isn't water? What like we've never had a water situation, but we have seen in other locations that if the water is running low, the maintenance department or like the administration will purchase water to fill up the cisterna just to make sure that everyone has water. What's the process? What do they do in a situation like that? We don't even notice it, and a lot of other people don't notice it because the administration is on top of it. Like when it starts getting to a certain level, I don't know if they get like an alert or whatever, how that goes, and they check it. But then they'll end up purchasing water. And that's how that goes. Another thing to think about and to ask about is maintenance.
Maintenance. I'm sure you guys have heard us mention maintenance on some of the apartments we showed. They'll say maintenance included or, you know, maintenance not included. And so, you know, maintenance is, the fee for maintenance can be a range. You know, it can range from, I don't know, $35 to, you know, we'll say it in pesos. What would it be, like 2,000 pesos to 10,000 pesos, depending on the place?
Big range, depending on where you're at and what's included.
Right. And it's a monthly fee. And what does that include?
Well, what maintenance normally is the fee that you give, because obviously they have to hire a cleaning company to make sure that they clean all of the apartments, that they clean the outside area,
the hallways.
Sometimes the outside and everything too. Sometimes the trash is included. Some people pay to get their trash picked up. Sometimes that's included. Sometimes the water is included in it, not always, but sometimes. Like just basically general fees of, you know, the security, they have to pay the staff. So the maintenance fee kind of pays for everything. Yep,
the grounds upkeep. Just think of it like that. Everything outside of your apartment, the maintenance fee covers it. But you can always ask, is the maintenance included? Or is the maintenance another charge? And if they tell you what the maintenance charge is, don't think that, you know, it's something unusual.
That's the norm. So another thing to think about is, what are the requirements for you to rent?
Exactly. So they're going to ask for like proof of employment. You don't live out here. So there may be a little, you know, some other things you may have to do, like maybe, you know, they may ask you to pay, you know, a few months of rent, you know, ahead of time or something like that, right?
Well, so they might ask for proof of employment. And for those of you that don't have proof of employment, like you might be retired or something, they'll ask for bank statements. What they basically want to see is, and they'll ask for like the past 3 months. What they basically want to see is that you have enough money to pay.
Exactly.
Right? And then in a lot of these locations, they'll ask for a garante, someone to co-sign for you.
You have
right?
a co-signer.
Well, and if you're new in the country and you don't have anyone to co-sign for you, like a bargaining, like a negotiation thing, you can say, well, you know, we'll be willing to give you, you know, X amount of months in advance, just so you can kind of see and build up trust.
Exactly.
And then like after that period of, I don't know, 3 months or whatever, then you see we build up trust, and then I can start paying you on a monthly basis. And then that's just a way for like the rental person to say, well, okay, I guess this
Take a
person is
chance on
serious
you.
because
Yeah.
they're trying. So that's a way for you to like negotiate that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You know, so a lot of times, you know, these apartments, some apartments, you know, they may not let you get it sometimes. I mean, you know, but that's anybody. You know, you don't know
that's
what the
even for
situation's gonna be.
Dominicanos.
Exactly. It happens. So, you know, just be prepared for that, you know, in your search when you talk to them about these things. But again, don't be afraid to like negotiate with them if they say that, well, you know, you don't really have a work history here, you don't have someone that has a work history here. You know, try to negotiate with them, let them know you can pay a few months. No, nothing super crazy. You don't want to pay a year ahead of time.
No.
But, you know, maybe up to 6 months, maybe less. You know, it's a negotiation. So, you know, you work your magic and you get your apartment.
Yeah, that's a good workaround for not having a garante, because who really has a garante that doesn't live in the country? So that makes sense.
Exactly. People live here and don't have a cosigner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not willing to co-sign.
Same thing in the States.
No.
Like, I ain't co-signer. What? So, but again, like we always say, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, you will get an apartment here. So you don't have to worry about that, but just be aware of it. So we hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, we don't want you just out there thinking, well, you know, I just pull up to the apartment and get it. We want you to be able to ask the right things on your search so you can end up with the right apartment and the right expectations of the apartment.
Right.
You know,
we don't want you to end up flooded.
We don't want you to end up hot. We don't want you to end up hot with no electricity, you know, laying up there. You know, I spent some time cursing out that heat, you know, because the inverter wasn't working or something. I just wasn't used to it yet. Woo, I used to be pissed. Now, I just lay back. I just go ahead and get undressed. As soon as electricity goes out, you know, something wrong with the inverter. But you ain't used to it yet, you know. So we just want you to be prepared. And again, some of these things like inverters, they may not have it. It's not the end of the world. You got to go get it yourself, but you got to ask for it. Things like ACs, they may not have it. You may have to get it yourself.
Right.
No big deal, because it's going to save your life. You know, anything else, beautiful lady of mine?
No. And happy apartment hunting, guys.
Happy apartment hunting. You will see some more videos coming soon with these apartments. We've had requests from you. We're going to make it happen. So, you know what we want you to do at this point in the video? We want you to like and subscribe. Love, purpose, and passports.
Love, purpose, and apartamentos. Bye.
Peace.